Carl and Damon here from Brrraains A Head-Banging Life, gbhblofficial for sure, and it's they made what into a TV series. Final Fantasy Unlimited, episode 21, Cactus, the Wandering Sea. I see the title, I'm like, oh, we're going to get some traditional Final Fantasy stuff here as Cactus, aka Cactar. Although, I don't know about you, right? When you think of Cactar, which specific game version do you think of? Because there's one that I come to mind every time that would force my party most of the time just to run because I never wanted to fight it. To me, it was the worst and hardest version of it.
Um, for me, I'm going to say Final Fantasy VIII. Only because the fact that there's an achievement where you have to get the GF, the Cacti GF, and it's so difficult to get.
Don't know about the achievement, not got that far in Final Fantasy 8. However, I will second this. The Cactar in Final Fantasy 8. Fuck that guy. In that desert world area, hated it. Number
Yeah,
9 is in with a good shout as well. But number 8, no. Yeah, Final Fantasy 8 is what I come to.
yeah.
So we begin this episode with Peace revealing that there is no way out of the ocean puzzle. It's actually self-creating via the chaos a group on the ship are creating. He uses that power to find Omega pieces and plans to feed them the chaos once he's done. Where was this? Is so simple and straightforward as an explanation. It's like someone got to this point of the story writing and went, "We've just written nonsense. Let's rework this into a really simple explanation that the puzzle is self-replicating, fed by the chaos they create in
Mm.
their wake. And the ocean puzzle exists purely for peace, to find pieces of Omega."
Mm. Yeah, it kind of makes you think like that. They obviously, the fact that they know it's ending, they probably wanted to drag it out more with the puzzle thing, but they knew they had to squeeze our win, so they basically just
Yeah,
revealed it.
this you are right. This is a reveal of this is how we can finalize the last bits of it, basically. I agree. I think it's a setup more than anything else. But I just like this simplified explanation for the ocean puzzle, you know?
Yeah.
Fabula recaps and talks of what comes next, which is Cactus. The ship is in a desert, and a ship can't sail through sand, obviously.
Mm.
Saying that though, it's a magic ship, man. Like it's a magic world. It could do anything.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Everyone is complaining about the heat, but we see that Yu is still in a bad way about his parents, deep in thought and wondering if it was just a misunderstanding. Love that carrying over. I tries to cheer him up using Poshi Pocket, but the creature spits out a cactus, which starts running around the ship. It does distract the kids who chase after, and it ends up hurting Chobi when Chobi steps on it. The cactus ends up in a washroom with the kids giving chase as Fungo eats soap. That was a weird scene. Another shower scene. They love these shower scenes with Nave being scared by Cactus and ending up naked in front of Lisa. They've done this a couple of times, and you know what? You know what? It's freaking weird, but I almost like it now. I've grown to like
Yeah.
its weirdness. She joins the chase, and the trio manage to sneak up on it and capture it, but he uses its spiky powers to break free before running off again. I gives chase onto the hull of the ship and demand that Poshi Pocket fix things. She ends up on the sand giving chase with Lisa and Yu shortly behind. Tired, they finally stop and Lisa reflects on how little life is there. The cactus ends up in a pit, and when they look in, they see lots of eyes before hundreds of cactus emerge and surround them. Lisa tries to communicate with them, and it seems to work as the cactus sort of settle down. However, the one from the ship tries to communicate with them. This feels different to what we've done to this point. This feels a bit more standalone, a bit more similar to what we were getting in the earlier episodes of this show. I'm fine with
Yeah.
it, but it does feel like we've kind of stopped momentarily.
Yeah, I thought it was more like to try and bring the kids back together, because obviously to get him out of his like depressive stage, so it got him back into interacting with the people again.
Good, good. You know, a great shout. You're
Mm.
absolutely right. This is to help. This is an episode to help you get out of the funk. You're absolutely right. Of course it is. On the sand, Sid is using a device to scan, and Lisa reflects on the lifelessness of the planet. Funga now reveals he can understand them, and the cactus is actually called Cactar, and that their home was destroyed by the Wandering Sea. Upset by what he hears, Nave promises to help them by restoring Wonderland and defeating the Wandering Sea, but then gets spiked. Sid reckons that the reason they can't move on from this cube is because of the Wandering Sea. Stop confusing this shit. Why is it not as simple as this? The cactus home was destroyed, right? By chaos.
Yeah.
That's
It's destroyed everyone else's places, so why not theirs?
And then you can still continue the story, but why are you throwing in the Wandering Sea nonsense, guys? Come on. Anyway, the cactus start to try and dig a hole to trap it, but everyone is going to have to work quickly as Sid reveals that it's on its way and something Kaze feels too. So apparently the Wandering Sea is on its way now and everybody can feel it. Sure, why not? Everyone starts to try and prepare, with Lisa revealing that the Wandering Sea is a mass of angry, lost souls who hate the living. She thinks she can heal their suffering, but it's a big task. That idea is cool. The idea of a sort of entity that's a mass of lost souls is perfectly fine. But you needed to have set this up earlier. This could have been an entity that was revealed in an earlier episode as being like a wandering boss almost. And it was made up of souls that were created by destruction. Omega left. Then you bring everything together again. And so then this episode could have been about defeating the Wandering Sea, the boss. If this had been set up properly before. It wasn't set up properly before, so this just feels messy.
Do you think it sounds a bit like Final Fantasy X, where obviously Sin goes and destroys the village. Obviously Yuna comes in and does a little dance to send the souls. They don't get sent; they become things.
It is an aspect of that. Here's the thing: we've got to remember, Final Fantasy has been going a very long time, and the stories have been retold in different ways. You know, look at the comparatives between games that we're more familiar with. The comparatives between a character like Zidane and a character like Cloud, they're all very similar. Does that mean like it's very long running? And of course, we as who we are as people and our ages and stuff like that, our entry point for Final Fantasy games was number 7. So I'm just going to give you a quick recap. 7, 8, 9, and 10 are the 4 major games that I played growing up. I also played things like Crystal Chronicles, X Part 2, 13, the Lightning games, and elements like that. And since then, I've also played Final Fantasy VI, which I played on mobile a few years back, and I actually consider to be one of the best Final Fantasy games ever made.
I've played 6.
Oh, well, it is widely considered to be one of the best games ever made. Final Fantasy games ever made, and I concur. I rate number 9 is my highest, and but 6 these days is very close to 9 because of its story. Obviously, while I don't want to go too off topic, I will mention that as of now, the remasters of these games, the pixel remasters of Final Fantasy 1 through to 6, are now available on Xbox. So you can pick them all up and play. And I know you love your big games, but basically there's 6 Final Fantasy games that you've never played now available. And number 6 in particular is considered the pinnacle of Final Fantasy games. So you basically have fun. I look forward to talking to you about them in the future, because I've also played 1. I have not done 2, 3, 4, or 5, but I've played 1. But 1 isn't really a Final Fantasy like game like we know them. Do you know what I mean? But it's still a cool game. So I played 1 and 6 from those original series. And this is what the reason why I mention all this is this is what Final Fantasy Unlimited is drawing from, really. The wealth of Final Fantasy games that exist. So these stories and elements, they are familiar to us because we've played a lot of the games.
Yep, Dave.
A rumbling announces the arrival of the Wandering Sea, which looks like a giant tidal wave of energy, which is cool by me. I like the look of it.
Yep.
As Nave orders his men to shoot it. Oh, I was like, you're an ass, man. You're an idiot. They end up shooting a Brrraains Agent Salvo, though. And I was like, oh, look at it immediately making me look like a fool. Because my immediate response is, you idiot. But no, they're shooting a drying ancient salvo, which I guess is designed to dry water up. And I was like, that's kind of cool. It does nothing, but I liked it.
Yeah, it's good.
Lisa now tries to use Keegan Arts, but it also fails. So Sid sends his robots into action only to watch them be destroyed immediately. Basically, the Wandering Sea is the Don of bosses.
Yeah.
And I did like the fact that everything has failed. So panic sets in. And they're like, abandoned ship. And I'm like, wait, that's not how this goes. You're supposed to find a way to beat the boss, not just go, shit! I laughed so hard.
Where's Kaze with his mag on?
Yes, indeed, because Lisa and Kaze are left behind. And Kaze sets about using the mag gun. And I was like, actually, it's been a while since we've seen the process. And so for the first time in a while, I didn't skip it. I was like, I'm going to watch the mag gunner's moved thing.
Oh, I watched it too, yeah.
He ends up summoning Bismarck. And you're never going to believe this. It fails. It's like a whale-like creature. And it fails. And the energy created is combined, right? That's the thing. So the creature fails, but the energy it creates ends up combining with energy from the Cactar. And the Cactar are able to defeat the Wandering Sea in a bit of a sort of a spectacular eruption. However, in a brilliantly Final Fantasy Dark moment, it kills all the Cactar. It wipes them out. And I was like, what is happening in the show?
Yeah, it was definitely very dark and very, very. I was not ready for that.
No, neither was I. But I also was aware that this show has done this a few times. And as Nate tries to pick one up, he gets spiked, revealing that they're all still alive, actually. So they didn't actually die. But momentarily, the show was like, ha! We're going to wipe out an entire race. Like, you don't have to do that. I'm okay with them not dying.
Yeah, so it was definitely a little twist for the show, but
we don't need a dead race of Cactar. Anyway, Fungo reckons it's the returning son that brought them back. And with that, the puzzle gets ready to move, and Lisa thanks Kaze. For what? For what? What did he do? He tried to do his mag gun. He failed. And it's only because, luckily, the fucking mag gun energy combined with the Cactar energy worked. The Cactar are the ones you need to be thanking, not idiot. She apologizes for calling him inhuman previously. Again, why?
It's been proven that he isn't. He doesn't give a rat's ass.
Yeah. Anyway, she smiles and drags him back to the ship, and that's the end of that episode. It's a throwaway episode. It is a fun episode with some fun stuff, and I do like it. I do think your point about kind of dragging you out of his fugue state is what the aim of it is. But as a standalone episode, it's fun and I like it. But at this stage, I kind of feel like we need to be going to the end, and I don't really want these sort of standalone episodes.
Yeah, I mean, with the rushness towards the end, I feel like that there's two episodes that they could have possibly skipped past and maybe extended the final episode.
You're absolutely right. Considering how rushed the last episode is going to be, we could have used this time to expand and kind of open that one up instead of doing this. But I'm a bit stuck though regardless, because I do like this and I am a fan, and I do want more Final Fantasy stuff I'm familiar with in the show.
Yeah, of course.
That is episode 21, Cactus the Wandering Sea. Have you got any thoughts that you want to share with us? You know what to do. Let us know in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. If you'd like to see more content like this, please consider hitting the subscribe button. It is gratefully appreciated. You can find us over at gbhbl.com, our full website where reviews, news and so much more goes up daily. We're also on all social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Threads, at gbhbl. Just search for gbhbl and you will find us out there. We also have merchandise on sale. You can access the shop via the website.